Welcome to Roo Code Office Hours. I'm your host, Hannes Rudolph, and today we are live from uh, um, San Francisco at the RooVet, our I guess parent company, sort of. I mean, the company that spun us off. We're live from their office in San Francisco. I'm here with Matt, the lead developer at Roo Code, and Kailash is works at Roo.vet. Welcome. Um, Today we are going to be chatting about all the things we have going on in the community. I guess we've got this new model, the whatchamacallit, the open source model from OpenAI, as well as GLM 4.5 I haven't tested. I think there's a few others. So, Dan, what are your thoughts? Have you given these models a try yet?
The only one I tested is Opus 4.1. And honestly, I haven't felt any difference between Opus 4 and 4.1 so far.
Yeah.
In fact, I have to go and double check if I have it on or off, because to me it feels the same. Like it's smart as always, I guess.
Yeah.
The other models I haven't even tested at all.
I haven't noticed a huge difference in 4.1, but I've got to give it some back-to-back. I've got to give it some of the problems that I was having a bit of a log jam with using Opus 4 and see what happens. So here, I'm going to flip over to our screen for our viewers, and let's give GLM 4.5 a try. I'm going to give it the Flappy Birds. If you guys don't know, we have something called /commands. And this command here does this. So I gotta move over. You can pause it if you want and take a look. Anyways, we're gonna run this command by typing /Flappy Bird and give it a go. 128K. I don't know if you noticed. Have you noticed the new header, Dan?
Oh yeah.
I like when I click, I can click anywhere to put it back. I just, click here and it goes back up instead of finding the sweet spot here at the top as it was before.
And it looks pretty well. It looks awesome with my theme. It's kind of darker, so it pops up a bit more than the one that I had. The one that I had, it was the same color as everything. So I like this one. And also, if you go back to the main view, you can see the actual tasks there also changed the appearance. It looks much cleaner.
Oh, okay.
The removal of all the history stuff.
So what are your thoughts, Matt? What are you most excited about in this upcoming week? Did you see the icons that Chirac posted?
Yeah, I did see that. I was just going to flag one small thing here, which is barely visible. The checkpoints. Somebody finally moved them, I think, to the right place. I don't know if this is bothering anybody else, but now the checkpoints are before the action instead of after, which for me makes it a lot more intuitive to roll back before something you want to change.
Yeah, I guess you can undo it and then keep the conversation going instead of undoing the one before and
scrolling all the way up. So yeah, pretty excited about that, and hopefully it ends up being a better experience. But I don't know. I should be excited about the model launches. They're so stressful though. Yesterday I was hoping to enjoy San Francisco and get some lunch, and one after the other.
There was small stuff, but it's like everybody's like, "Oh crap, the big guys are coming out with their guns right away, so we better drop our
1 to 3% improvements."
Yeah,
I improved Roo by 1 to 3% yesterday too.
Yes.
That.
So remotes, Kailash, you mostly use Roo Code with remotes these days. Yes. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how? Without giving too much away on the Roo Code cloud front, what is your experience? How do you trigger them? How do you give them feedback?
Yeah, it's just some background. I know nothing about models. I know they exist and they come out every other day. But what I do love about Roo Code is the ask mode. So just for some context, I work on growth. So I lead the growth team here at RooVet. And we've really been using Roo Code from pretty much day minus 30 to understand our code base and get more context before going to an engineer with questions. Makes me seem way more intelligent that way. So my favorite questions are if I find an insight, let's say rage clicks going up on a specific page, my like most loved use case of Roo Code is asking it what changed in that period and then trying to ask it to go fix it. I do this. I mean, I can do like 3 or 4 of this at the same time, and that's been a lot of fun. So that's mostly my favorite use case of Roo Code outside of
Yeah.
actually asking it to fix the issue if it finds one. So it's been really interesting to see how far it's come in the last like few months. Um, in terms of accuracy and also like if it doesn't work the first time
Yeah.
can have it run 5 more times and it's probably going to work one of those times and one of the engineers are probably going to approve the PR. So
Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been joking about this since we started working on Roo. Back in the old, back in the older days, you have a very skinny sidebar and a big window that shows your files. And I think over time, for me, it's just kind of slid so that the extension takes up more and more of the window. I actually discovered this new button in VS Code that maximizes the secondary sidebar yesterday, which just makes it the whole window. And I think just as we build up more trust with the models and with the instructions and the tools around them, I just operate a lot more like that. So it really does, when you have someone like Kailash who wants to build, but the whole, I don't know if you know Git and stuff like that, but trying to set up a local environment and things is pretty painful. It does make you question like how important is it to actually have your own editor or not, and how much of it can you just move to into the prompting and into the question, especially if you're just asking questions.
Yeah.
So that's been a thing that we've been thinking about a lot. I mean, I don't write code anymore either. I think I know how, but I think it just as we're all just writing English for this, yeah, it's just really exciting to see how these things are evolving and how other tools are approaching it
Yeah.
as well.
yeah, my first prompt was feeding the readme file on how to set up the environment and asking Roo Code to set up the environment and it
Yeah, there.
I should have a mode for that.
It's just default mode. You just interesting. The compression compressed.
I'm going to start at 20.
I don't have a clue. I'm thinking we need to iron out some of the bugs here. Now, if you're new to this podcast, then you will know that we don't hide what goes on when we do a demo. It's real time. I've done this demo a bunch of times, but never with this model. And so if it bungles up, it is what it is. We'll go, we'll fix it. And by the end of the day, we'll fix the thing. If it wasn't a model thing. And in this case, we had it condense seemingly before it should. And so we'll look into that after the podcast and get it hammered out. Actually, Dan's going to fix it before we're done the podcast. No, I'm just kidding. So, anyways, I'm not sure how well this one's going here. I mean, I guess we can keep it going for a little longer. I do have, if you've noticed, if you use Roo, then you'll notice that we're not seeing it right over in this screen as we move on. And that's because we have this experimental setting over here. Go to the little beaker called background editing. And this prevents editor focus disruption when enabled. So that way we don't have the writes streaming in here all the time. It allows us to actually, we could straight up open a document and start typing and it wouldn't bug us. So this is something a number of people requested, and I personally have really enjoyed it because I'm always monkeying around looking at the code that the instance wrote shortly after it wrote it, and then I'm going back to another instance of Roo. I'm looking back and forth, and so I like to sort of have control of my IDE.
So, Hannes, does this make it easier? If you popped one out in a tab, could you have like multiple of them next to each other now?
Multiple what?
Multiple copies of Roo?
I
mean,
I do that in one situation. The thing is this, the model synchronizes pretty quickly between them. So you can't run it on a different model. If I'm, or sorry, the mode.
oh, interesting. Okay.
So I use it when I'm doing docs extractor, when I'm getting all the info for the new features through code, I'll set up multiple windows to do, because it's got to do all the digging. It takes like 5 or 10 minutes each time I run it. And so when I'm working on release notes, I'm like, okay, I need to look up this and this and this, and then it'll just work concurrently and write documents. So if they're independent tasks running the same mode, you can get away with it, and it works.
Yeah, maybe we should fix that. It'd be pretty cool to, in some cases where they're independent, to be able to do multiple of them.
Yeah, I think maybe we need to extract we need to start using workspace state for the mode that's selected, right? I mean, the marriage of the mode and the model, I'm okay with that being synchronized across tasks. Totally makes sense. Heck, it should be a little more responsive than it is. But if we have it stored in workspace state, which we don't store, I think, anything there, then each instance can have a unique ID and its own memory for these sorts of things.
Yeah.
But really, we would just be extracting very few settings from there, because we don't want anything. We want everything else to stay in sync.
Yeah.
It would be catastrophic if suddenly they're running different indexing.
Yeah.
So
We're getting some questions about autocomplete now as well.
okay.
Yeah, actually, we got a question here that I think it's interesting. Is Roo Code ever going closed source? Hannes, what do you think?
Yes. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, we don't plan on taking the Roo Code plugin closed source because, quite frankly, I mean, there's two aspects to it. One, the community has really, really, really been on board helping us in terms of issues, in terms of many different improvements that you've seen in Roo have been community driven. A lot of the things that we've done in-house have come as the result of conversations we've had with people from the community. So it means a lot to us to keep that community aspect of our software alive. And we have had this discussion internally. I mean, we're not just going to pretend that conversation doesn't exist. That's a great conversation. I was actually talking to Matt about it yesterday, and it wasn't like, should we, in the sense of like, this is a plan. It was like, what would a world look like if that happened? And to me, it really reinforced that our community is central to what we do, and having the plugin closed source is a really cool thing. We do have some offerings we're working on related to Roo Code Cloud that are definitely closed source, and they aren't other coding tools, but they are ways of using Roo, and we're going to use them internally and sell a product, that doesn't devalue the regular use of Roo. As far as we're concerned, if you get Roo, you download it, you can put an API key and make shit happen. Get coding done, and that we have no plans of changing. So that is the answer. Matt, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The extension, I think, is going to be, open source, usable. You can see it. But one thing that has changed a little bit recently, just as the agents have gotten better, is it has felt like the agents are writing a lot more of the code than people. Like both for us internally, like I alluded to earlier, I just write prompts at this point, and a lot of them are more just kind of single shot prompts as well. It's also been really interesting. Those of you who have reported issues might have noticed the remotes that work on the issues now. And I don't know how many of you I've looked at what that is, but that's basically us running Roo automatically to try to take in basically what you're reporting as issues, and then just seeing if we could fix them. And frankly, that's a lot harder than, we're at like 98% now, I think, on our eval suite with the best one. We are not at 98% with the remotes. Like, these are hard things. In some cases the prompts are underspecified. In some cases, the models just get confused. But I don't know, as these things get better over time, I just have a lot of faith that just a lot of this stuff is going to be written by people making product requests, and a little bit less of like everybody going into the code and like manually writing it ourselves. Even as we talk about autocomplete and stuff like that, like it's a little bit like, I just don't think about that anymore. I just try to think about like what I want to happen. So that's like a little different than open source versus closed source, but I mean, I don't know. It's kind of joking to hand. It's like, yeah, open source. It's kind of turning into like open issues. Like you want something that Hannes used to tell everyone, like, open a PR. You want to fix that? Now it's really open an issue. And it's been interesting to see that evolution.
Yeah, because the issues that when someone says, "Hey, this button is acting funny" or something, there's my indexing is crashing when in this specific edge case. It's really handy if they can describe what that is and put it in an issue, Remote will kick off and try to fix it. Usually it doesn't, but if the ask is, if it's a clear cause and effect bug situation, then it nails it. We review it. It gets, adjusted, maybe approved. In lots of cases, we'll close that PR and add some more details to that issue. And in cases where people where it's a deeper, they're like, I want to revamp how this works. Roo doesn't just come up with you got to scope that very clearly. You need lots of details, but those issues are still, super helpful, and we still have people from the community that actually come along and help to implement these. I guess one of our most recent additions was the to do. That's absolutely been changing how I personally use Roo and how Remote uses Roo. So
Yeah, it's been really interesting. I mean, the part that's been great is seeing the synergies between the things in the PRs and in the coding agent, as well as they're really making it so that they can do more work unattended, basically. Like the to-do list, I think I alluded to that maybe last week or the week before. It's been amazing. Like if you look at kind of what the prompts are for our remote, so you think about those, like it's really a combination of like our new slash commands that make it really easy to give like really long detailed prompts and combined with the to-do list to really keep these things on track. And there's an experimental feature. I don't know if we've turned this on in the remotes, but making it so that it cannot attempt completion while there's still unchecked things on the to-do list. So I don't know. They might not be the ideal thing for people who are a little bit more hands-on, but it's been really helpful as we just try to get it to do something good.
yeah.
So that part's been really good. I saw something sliding by that I wanted to respond to as well, which is around like using this at work and whether we're working on that. That's actually like the big part of the other thing we're working on a lot is trying to make it so that it works better with teams. And yeah, we have a SOC 2 type 1. We're working on a SOC 2 type 2. I think what we've seen is like everyone like big companies, small companies, they see how much this can help, but there's still, especially in regulated industries, there's a lot of work that needs to be done for everyone to feel comfortable bringing AI into the workspace. So I don't think it's anyone's favorite thing to do, but we are working on the compliance side of things as well. Please feel free to reach out to me on Discord or email our support if you want to talk more about that. And yeah, along with that, working on some cloud features to make it a little bit easier for people who are comfortable and want to connect to the cloud. I do think that there's a lot of interesting opportunities when you combine what you can do with the web with what you can do in your extension. So yeah, stay tuned. Great questions for us.
Yeah, and going back to the issue thing, I feel
Yeah.
like before we would be like, oh yeah, open a PR for that. Now it's just open an issue. If the PR is not like accurate or it's not valid or it's something weird, then we can go back to the issue and we can go like, oh, you need to do this instead. Before it was like we need to look into the issue, see the cause. Now because Roo attempts something, we can go back and say you should do it like this instead. So we have like a base. We have some information now on how not to do something. It's easier to tell it now what to do correctly. So I feel like that's pretty good as well.
Yeah, I don't know if you're looking at the screen here, but okay. So this model, I'm surprised. Something was definitely funky with this model. I turned condensing off, so it stopped doing that. I'm not sure why it keeps prematurely condensing. It did manage to come up with. I mean, look, it made something. It doesn't fit the browser very well, but all in all, I would say that it actually followed. If we look back through here, the real test isn't the quality of this game. The test is, did it follow along, and did it do roughly what we asked it to do? Because if you can get a model to do roughly what you ask it to do, then adjusting your instructions or breaking the task down into smaller steps can get you where you need to go. So instead of using Opus for $1 million every time you click, using a model like this where and going, if you're an engineer, then you go, okay, well, look, I want to do this. Then you go, I want to do this, and just let it do its thing in between. And you can get a lot done that way. And this model is very, like, if you're looking here, we don't have tool failures. I think that where we went south is something is up with the condensing related to this model. And we'll look into what's going on. But I would say this is a big thumbs up. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I feel like the condensing probably comes from the reserved tokens that we use for the output. That's probably causing some issues, but
Yes,
even
that's
with
it.
that, yeah.
Okay, so we need to use the default on this one.
That's so annoying. So
Yep.
annoying. I
But yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure that's interesting that it has a 96. Okay, that's very strange. So maybe we'll run this again next week with the proper output. So what he's saying to you who are not familiar in the audience is that our total context window is comprised of the default model context max minus the max output. Because if you had 100,000 uh, context model and it had a max output of 12,000 and you didn't reserve 12,000, then if you were at 90,000 tokens and it put its max out, it would end up erroring because it couldn't handle that in the next turn. If you're doing a one turn, that doesn't matter, but when you're doing multiple turns, it does matter. I mean, in our case, I suppose we could have an option that would be sort of neat if we used a larger model for doing the condensing. Then you don't reserve that up, and you let it condense. Once it gets over, it just condenses. But it sounds complicated.
Yeah, I mean, this is a new one. Like, for whatever reason, people are really interested in having like a long output. I think for coding, it just doesn't matter. My personal opinion is like you don't really need that much. Like, it never actually writes that much code at once. We have some code in like all these open source models. I think they make it so you have unlimited max output. Dan and I added some special case code for that, but I think we just need to make it smarter about if we're trying to reserve more than 20% of the context window, that we should cap it to that. Or I think we can fix this today.
Oh, you do like an auto where the default just becomes
20%. Like we already have some code for that. We just need to tweak it. This is really impressive. It basically did this with like its hand tied behind its back. If it only had 20.
Yeah, it actually did.
Yeah, pretty good.
So
nice work, GLM.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just did an announcement. That's from a company called Zed AI, right?
That's what we say in Canada. Yeah.
Z. I'm sorry.
Is what I would say, but yeah.
ZAI. Yeah, we were collaborating with them yesterday on our social media announcements.
Yeah, it has been interesting. I mean, the open source. I remember when DeepSeek happened.
Yeah.
And then it was awesome, and then it had trouble keeping up, and like Gemini and Claude got better. But it feels like now it's the second wave with all these open source models, and including the GPT OSS one from OpenAI.
Yeah,
I think it'd be really interesting to see how this goes. I think ultimately it's going to be really good for Roo. It's just I would hate to just like commit to only one of these companies or only one of these models.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we are loyal to the people that make models that allow Roo to give you guys great output.
Yeah, it's nice to whatever's the best to support it.
Okay, so I have here is not going to be the star of the show, I suspect, but let's give it a try.
Well, someone was complaining earlier. Yeah, about Horizon stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
I've got one. I'm gonna kick it off, then we can move on to the next thing. This is the open source GPT from OpenAI. So, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I feel like we might find that some models are not meant to do what, for example, Opus is doing for us. Maybe we can find a specific workflow that works well with a specific model. I feel like translation and stuff like that, we can probably leverage a smaller model, like cheaper model that works well with editing files, and that's it. It might not be smart to implement a new feature. It's smart enough to implement a new feature, but it can work pretty well, like translating out automatically. If, for example, if our CI on GitHub, if the CI sees that there's missing translations, maybe we can kick off something with a smaller model, something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's use on smaller models as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give this a try with direct from Groq. So what I have here is I selected the router through OpenRouter to Groq. But I'm going to attempt to see. I don't know if I have my API key set up for this yet. So, Groq, Matt, do you want to tell us a little bit about Groq?
Yes, that's been the other exciting thing with these open source models is that there's just a lot of options for how you can host them. And there's a lot of these companies who are just really good at, I don't know, stuff I don't understand about the chips that can run this and just make it like incredibly fast. Um, I mean, I'm horrible at social media. Apologize to those of you who follow us on Twitter, but like the best one I ever did was just like a screencast of, I think, Groq running the Kimi K2 model. And it's just like so viscerally exciting to see the code like flying by as you do it. And yeah, Groq has been one of the fastest, one of the fastest ways to run these open source models. You can see it with Kimi. I think they run the GPT OSS now. We added that yesterday. They run Qwen Coder. I believe. So yeah, it's been super exciting. I mean, I was gonna actually ask. It's like I don't know. I think for a while, like I use Sonnet the most. So for me, it feels like just talking to like a person, which I think is like a cool step. But with these new models, it's like gotten beyond it. Like there's something for me that's just so different when it goes so quickly past you. It really feels like you're talking to something superhuman. And it's been, I mean, interesting in some ways. To Dan's point, though, it's like when I'm trying to do the planning or the architect mode, it's like too much. It's just like I want you to slow down a little bit so I can catch up and come up with a plan. But then once you're actually coding, like I don't want to sit around and watch it like make the mistakes and do the tool calls and stuff. So I am like really interested in how we can keep some of the planning in like a reasoning model or a slower model and have some back and forth with the humans. But then if you can reduce the implementation time down by having a new API profile or a new mode for like super fast coder or something like that, especially for things that are not rocket science. You just need to build a web page, build a feature, and then use it with the orchestrator or something, have something smarter kind of check the output. I feel really excited about that and about Roo Code like being set up to take advantage of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is moving along pretty quick here. For anyone that's watching, it is. Here, I'm going to see if I can interrupt this midstream and turn off that so we can see it writing for the fun of it. Let's see.
Much better on the social media here.
Okay, let's see. I don't know what it's trying to do here. What do you mean all the required files are completed? It's not done. What's it talking about? I don't know. I don't think so.
You don't think it made the file?
No. What do we got here? npm install. Okay. No. I'm. This went too fast for me. I want to see what's going on here. There's not. Okay. You got to give it to Groq. It's fast. In this case, I think the model really is not that great. That's not on Groq.
I think it's our brains are not that great, and we just can't keep up with it. Did it make the Flappy Bird, or did it not?
I don't know. It did something. Here we got going on. Doesn't look. Oh, okay. It's got stuff.
A problem between keyboard and chair, I think.
Okay, so let's see. I'm just gonna go npm start and see what happens.
Yeah, seriously.
Let's see what happens. Okay.
I mean, that's something.
No, it's totally okay. Well,
invisible Flappy Bird.
Okay. I think the click is okay. That's got it. All right.
That bird was flapping. You give it at least partial.
Okay, I find the mouse is a little off here. So we're gonna try that. Maybe we should try that with a different model on Groq to show it like kick some ass. Because I really
Coder is there on Groq, I think.
Oh, you want to let Gosu in here? He's got lots of info about these models. He put his hand up, I think. Or invite him on stage.
I will.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, I'm going to move these to trash, clear this up. Hey, Adam, how are you doing? This is Gosu. Anybody that doesn't know, he's got a YouTube channel and does a great job making tutorials and all sorts of other cool stuff. He is a local model or a large language model, local model enthusiast, I would say. These types of things are right up his alley. he runs it locally on his machine often. Isn't that right?
Very much so, yeah. What I was saying is I had better luck with Cerebras at temperature 1. So Groq, I could never get really good quality stuff out of it at various. I don't know how they're quantizing it down, but it looked like you did 0 temperature. You might have better luck. You might not too. This model's very variable.
I mean, yeah.
All my testing I also did at medium reasoning. I don't know if that matters at all either, but crank it to 1, like totally all the way to 1.0. Nope, not yeah. I don't know what 2 would do actually.
Make it 11.
And then medium reasoning?
Yeah, go medium.
Okay, we're going to try OpenAI. If you're watching, we're not trying to throw you under the bus here. We know you make great stuff, so please don't
Did you
sue
pick
us.
Cerebras too as a provider?
Oh yeah, I'm very hopeful of GPT-5. But
Same,
that
yeah.
being said, I'm not going to be so nice next week if GPT-5 does come out and it can't make Flappy Birds. Okay, here we go.
Is this Groq or Cerebras as the provider? Okay, we'll see how this goes.
It is fast.
It's very fast.
Okay, it's doing its thing. Boom. You see, it just writes that file. It's just done. It just opens. It takes longer to open and close the file. The delay that I have set for diagnostics to catch up is longer than it takes to write the damn file. It just appears. It's like a ninja. Holy smokes. So you said when you use Cerebras, you get better results. We've got a good relationship with the people at Groq with the Q. And, they would love to hear your input, I'm very sure. And, fix some things. They really would. So I don't know if maybe we could get in a joint chat. We could point you in their direction. Would you be interested in chatting with them?
Oh yeah, happy to help whoever. I've been talking to the Cerebras people too, so
They're
talk to
great as
whoever
well.
I can. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, our job isn't to have best friends with the providers. Our job is to make sure we have them all available for you guys. So that's what we do.
Yeah, try to proceed, see what happens.
I was
Give up. Yeah.
Yeah, this is on my evals, for example, with Groq, I could get the best results around 0.7 temperature. If I went up higher than that, I started getting the failures like you're seeing now. With Cerebras, though, I get the best results around the 1 temperature.
interesting.
If I go 0, it's very odd. If I'm 0 to like 0.3, it's a complete failure. And these are more long-running tests than like a Flappy Bird test, so it'll be interesting to see for a shorter one like this.
The reason I like this Flappy Bird test is because it gives the option. It gives us the ability to see what like the big frontier models will do on such a simple task, but it also is a simple enough test for basic models. And what I'm really looking here isn't what Flappy Birds looks like. I mean, whether they can design good, whether they have good design ability is totally different than whether they can follow tools. And one of the biggest things I'm looking for is whether it can follow tools. Because if it can follow the root tools, then you as the user can handle directing it to make what you want to make. I mean, it's not realistic to say, look, I just want like a website for my, I don't know, for this customer, they own a salon, and just have it make it. I mean, it's not going to do, I mean, even if it makes something, it's not going to just know what the customer wants. And so, but if you ask Roo that, could it follow the tools? And in this case, we had that blip where we had to hit continue, but it seems to be following. Like, I'm not getting a lot of failures here.
Yeah, we have a slider where we could let it fail more too, right?
Here, I'll show that to the onlookers. Under advanced error repeat limit. So we'll just jack that up. Hey, look at that. We're done. Okay, so did it already installed npm start. And we are on port 3000. It says no. I mean, follow the tools though. I don't know if I want to bother troubleshooting it as much as I just want to try another model on Groq. It was so fast. Here, I'm going to close this. I'm going to kill that
Oh, they
server.
feed it back the error that you saw.
Nah,
maybe.
way. I want to try another one before we run out of time here.
Yeah, there's no indexed HTML files. That's interesting.
So, yeah, I'm confident we could have gotten it to finish the job. That's a given. But it, like I said, tool following, and I think that actually model did pretty good. So that's encouraging for people that would like to use Roo to do. And they don't have a huge wallet. That is perfectly fine. And I want people. I want to attract everybody. I want everyone to be able to use our tool. And I found without these models, it's sometimes pigeonholed us as if you have a lot of money, you can use Roo. Otherwise, you got to chase the free models. And now you can use
100%.
these models for relatively cheap, and they often have free tiers, so even better. Here, let's try Qwen. Here, I might have a Cerebras set up here.
Yes.
Okay, what model?
Was it Qwen Coder? The one
Qwen
that we
3
used?
Coder is my favorite one.
Yeah.
Any
All right, you
temperature?
got us at 0.6.
0.6. Goodness, you just look that up in your database, or?
I just know because I've tested hundreds of iterations of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean there's 0.61. That's gonna break it. Okay, there we go. Save.
I do not know what 6.1 does.
Could be way better.
It
Okay,
honestly could be.
Kailash, we're not getting you talk very much.
Yeah.
Have you ever played around like this with Roo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do is ask it to make a fitness game for me. So I go work out.
Yeah.
It actually does a really good job. The camera axis to like tell me if I'm showing 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers up.
Yeah.
I think
Really?
yeah, it's actually a really interesting use case, and then there are all these postnet models
Yeah.
that detect your posture. So I've been playing around with that.
Wow. So you use them as the brains and you connect it with hardware.
Well, I should not be doing that because I don't trust it enough.
I mean, you don't give it like a gun or anything. So,
but if you're thinking exoskeletal,
yeah.
trying to like physical therapy, right? Building an exoskeletal
Yeah.
system that like helps you like stretch. Like
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm at a place where I can trust these models yet, but
Well, I mean, the like the tool calling might be a little janky, so be careful. If it calls the wrong tool and you put in an exoskeleton, we'll be in trouble.
but it's really like helped me think way bigger
Yeah.
from and not just limited by what I think I can build. So I feel like that's the biggest takeaway for me. Like I'm not afraid to like think of out of the world ideas
Yeah.
and see how it comes up with a plan.
I've got to say, we don't have too many people we chat with that I talk to about where they're using this outside of just coding, software for basically apps for interacting with the whole connecting to the real world beyond a website and interfacing with some API and all that is actually a really exciting possibility. Like you and I were talking yesterday when we went out. I think we were walking, we went over coffee, and we were discussing how. So in the past, I've set up an Arduino to measure the current in various circuits, and it would poll every 1.2 seconds, send it to a database. And I remember looking up on Google and writing this software. I was so impressed. Like I think that my Arduino file was probably like 60 lines, and it was really handy. It took me a long time. I kept trying it back and forth, sending it, and then I got it and I nailed it. And it was like awesome. Now that being said, it's sitting there and I don't use it. It's been a number of years, but the things you could do with this software, these large language models, to write these simple scripts to interface with different hardware, it's just mind-boggling easy. So I'm thinking when I get home, I'm going to goof off with that stuff and give it a try and see how well these large language models can do to write software for an Arduino or a Raspberry Pi, where you connect it to the pins and connect it to temperature sensors and valves. I had a Raspberry Pi I was going to set up to water my garden once upon a time, and I have various valves and different hardware sitting in a box that I never did anything with. So maybe I'll give that a go and run some demos, show you guys that. Typically, we're just making Flappy Birds, and I don't know, it might be getting a little boring here. Okay, where are we at?
Someone asked us if this is costing something. I think Cerebras has all their models, for at least for us, with 0. I feel like this is a free
Yes.
tier.
We get it with Cerebras. They let us, for testing. So most of the providers will give us, a pretty reasonable rate limit of free, so that we can make sure it works with Roo. It's very generous of them.
But they don't.
Super.
They have a pay-as-you-go model, or you basically get a free allocation, and then if you do the subscription, you get more generous.
Yeah, they have.
limits. I
They
think that's
do.
how it works.
Yeah, they have that subscription. And if you looked under the models here, I didn't select the free one.
Right.
There is a free one.
So we're using the paid one.
I'll be honest, you don't get that much with Roo when you use the free ones, because Roo is a token hog. We develop Roo with the idea in mind that let's let the large language model actually kick some ass and do some work. And we don't want to restrict it by going, no, you can't use token, you can't use, no, do everything you can, uncuff it. So if anybody's looking, we have, you might have noticed, we've got Flappy Birds with this. Okay. If we just stop here, it's good. We're good. I'm afraid to click it. What if I click it and it's not awesome? Okay, here we go.
I've got faith there.
Literally nothing happened.
The back
No!
end-
My faith has been broken.
What is it right at the very bottom? There's some like heart thing. Oh, created with love using Node.js.
When I click the button to open Flappy Birds, nothing happens. Well, I mean, something did happen. It went to, it just anchored.
Does Snake open, or do they all do the same?
All
Same
do
thing.
the same.
Got it.
Let's make this a little smaller.
We were talking a little bit to Cerebras, and they did suggest for people who are hitting the rate limits in the bottom of our provider settings, you can set an interval between requests to space them out a little bit more. So that's a possibility if people are running into that. But I agree, in general, it's kind of the challenge with these.
If you're using the free ones, you got to bounce around a bit if you really want a full free service. And I respect that. Some people don't have the coin to do this. So there are some tricks. And if you go into our Discord, oh man, people seem to have all the tricks. They find ways to get free models. So if you're willing to have that chat, people will tell you their secrets, I think. And I'm not condoning trying to bypass rate limits in any way. That's not what I'm talking about. But there's different free tiers with different providers that you can jump between. On my screen here, I've got a rate limit you can set. Is that what you were talking about?
Yes, talking about that one.
Okay. So yeah, set that higher, lower, whatever, and don't hit the rate limit as quickly. Okay, so it's trying to do something. I don't think we have NodeMon on, so I'm going to have to exit here. It is fascinating the way it just goes green and it's like done. I hit a rate limit, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, we can hit it
Hopefully
again.
you're not capped. Yeah, you might be capped for the day now.
No way. They bumped me way up. Oh,
How many tokens did you burn here, out of curiosity? Like if you hit the down arrow on the task. Yeah, you're not even 1 million.
Let me just take a quick look here. Here, someone talk about something interesting while I look. I mean, that does look pretty good.
Looks great.
I love it when you do this and it just makes like a really cool, like, I don't know, one that makes you feel good about UI. And I mean, yeah, there's all sorts of things that aren't good about this, but I don't know. I like gradients as much as they look cheesy. I think that they're pleasant.
Haven't designed a new shirt for you.
Yeah, see, look at the shirt. Look, it looks like that on the screen. We share. It's the same, huh? It's
picked
watching.
up the colors. There you go.
That's actually an interesting use case as well. Like when you're thinking about UX design and you have a bunch of benchmarks, I just throw all of that into Roo and ask it to use those as like comparables and come up with a new design. And it's actually really interesting how that powers up prototypes that you can actually use.
Huh. You make me think the way that you use Roo and use LLMs. It's exciting. Okay, there we go. I don't know. I must have had the wrong API key in because I looked and my limits were 0%. I hadn't hit anything. So now we're up and running again. Sorry, Cerebras, if you're watching this at any given time, I didn't mean to throw you under the bus there.
Well, I ended up as your limits.
Yeah. Okay, let's give this a go. Okay, I think I need to start it. I'm going to install just in case.
One of my favorite features, though, did you see how it tried to run npm start itself, but then because you denied the command, it stopped? I don't know if you all have done that yet, but
here, where was that? I want to show them that the
definitely.
Oh, I don't know where it was. I mean,
if only you could search.
If only I could search for the one, yeah. Okay,
Definitely, like
on
having
npm start, this is a test. Let's see what happens. And this is a little distraction, but come on. Oh, why is it taking so long? It's like this person is trying to trick me. Okay, now see that? Here, I'm gonna hit cancel. Boom. See here, we've got this really handy. I have it on the deny list. So if you go here under auto, all the way down, I've got this stuff on deny down here. And if I hit that, then suddenly it's gone. Not on the list. Very, very handy feature. I just don't want it running npm start because it ends up hanging. I forget about it, and yeah, I want to hear the little ding in the background that stuff was going. Then I need to look back at this window.
Yeah, sorry, Sharik. I'm sure all your effort wasted on the very disturbing prompts. Now you can just hit the red X.
Yep. Proceed.
For me, it's just like forbidding it from actually pushing. For example, me, I use a lot of the Git and GH CLI tools. So sometimes I'm working on something, the modes or Roo will try to push something, and it's blocked by that. So I don't have to worry. I can just let it run. I know that it's not going to push any changes or commit any changes before I actually check if it works or not. That's incredibly useful, that feature.
Let's see what happens when I do this. We have this new feature. It is under prompts for enhance. Include task history. When enabled, the last 10 messages from your current conversation will be included as context when enhancing prompts, helping generate more relevant and context-aware suggestions. Okay, let's see what happens. I did not test this, so I'm sorry if I am embarrassed by the output. Remember, again, everything's hooked up to models. There's a chance that, what model did I have selected there? Oh, Gemini 2.5 is my enhanced prompt model, so it should do okay. I interrupted it halfway through. Let's see what happens. Waiting. It used to be faster when you didn't dump in the 10, oh, wow, it did 100% nothing. What is my prompt? Oops. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, that's why. That was my tool. I'm sorry, they didn't. You guys caught me cheating.
LLM doesn't care if you spell correctly.
I know, but when I want to share on Twitter that I like, hey, look at this one prompt, and I spelt the word cat wrong. Okay, Flappy Bird's link isn't working correctly. When I click the URL, it changes to that, but the game canvas doesn't appear. The main content area. I mean, I'm not going to finish reading that, but it looks good to me.
It's a lot more textual than it used to be.
Yeah. Like it kind of knows what it's doing, so it's not like just random stuff. It knows like there's something in the implementation going on. That's really
Now,
good.
if you're watching and you're on YouTube, one, I'd like to apologize for the quality of the mic. I didn't bring the boom mic, and I'm in San Francisco, but I did listen to you. You asked to keep the focus on the screen more. So that's what we've done. And we have hit a rate limit. Let's see. I'm going to look at that once more. Dan, what questions we have coming in from the crowd?
The
rate limit should be. Yeah, it's gone.
There's one about autocomplete that we already talked about. If we're planning to implement autocomplete, you want to answer that?
Matt?
Well, that was straightforward.
I mean, short answer, no. Long answer, Matt. Tab completion.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of other tools out there to do it for people who want it. I think it's a hard thing to get right. I think for us, I think I said earlier, I found myself doing a lot less hands-on keyboard hitting tab, frankly. So I think just in terms of where our comparative advantage is in making the agent great and making it so you don't have to type as much, and I'd rather focus on that. I totally get it that people do like getting in there and hitting tab complete, and I actually stopped using cursor because I got frustrated that the nightly build didn't update in real time. So I'm back on VS Code, and I hardly miss the smarter tab complete because I just don't tab as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened to me as well.
Yeah, you were a cursor guy that did a lot of tabbing.
Yes, and I was like so scared of leaving cursor. I was like, no, I'm gonna miss the autocomplete. Then I stopped writing my code altogether. So now the AI completes the code, not just me tabbing.
Yeah, makes sense. Adam, how about you? You an autocomplete kind of guy?
I was for years, but not so much anymore. I'm pretty much in the same boat Matt's in. I'd rather evaluate the code, have the AI kind of do the first pass on it, manually change things that I need to.
Yeah.
I just don't find myself doing tab complete nearly as much anymore.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I do use with Roo that I think is good is like when there's an error where it's like fixed with Roo. Like I think that is like a really cool feature that has kind of replaced it for me. So rather, I know it's kind of weird, but I think
so instead of going and hitting tab, you just like, well, it can see the diagnostic.
Right click, yeah.
Okay. You like to use the whatchamacallit, context menu?
Yeah, exactly.
Improve with Roo?
Yep, or it'll be fixed if there's an error.
Okay.
Or I forget what the wording is, but basically it adds the error message to Roo, and then it can go fix it for me.
I have debugged at one point or another that feature, and I have never, ever, ever used it because I don't click into the code to do things. I just I'm always looking for a way to how can I talk to the LLM model to do the thing so that I can go back to whatever else I was doing. So
basically assembly code at this point.
Yeah, Okay, well,
I'm curious if you go to like the direct URL, like /Flappy Bird, does it have anything there, or is it just dead? I don't know if it's -bird. Oh, it's just nothing.
Nothing. I mean, I could keep beating my head against the wall. I mean, we got a few more minutes. I didn't do this with the other model. That's not quite fair.
So the one thing that I'll say is, and I don't know how to put a metric on this, and this is it's kind of like one of the challenges you got to make. But if you use the Alibaba endpoint directly with Qwen 3 Coder, with my evals in particular, they score about 8% higher. So you are giving up a little bit because of the quantization that Cerebras and a lot of these other providers are putting around Qwen 3 Coder. So just keep that in mind. Like that's why, like last week when we ran this against Alibaba, it worked like 0 to 1, like it was out the gate working, and you're getting some issues now. That's just the little idiosyncrasies you get between the small quantization differences.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I guess that makes sense. And in this type of stuff, even, I mean, it's all out there, all published, but trying to put it all in on a chart and compare it, and I guess that's what you're for. So we've got your channel on YouTube where you review this kind of stuff regularly, yeah?
Yep, and what I would say is like Alibaba though is like 1/10 the speed of Cerebras, so you also have to kind of weigh in. If you're doing the $50 a month thing, you're getting a lot cheaper price, slightly less quality. super fast speed. So it's like all of those dimensions that people just have to decide for themselves, I think, on what's better. But yeah, I try to evaluate as much of that as I can.
So you're saying the speed does come at a cost.
Quantization, no matter what anybody says, degrades the quality of the output of the model. And with long running agent loops, it's a compounding effect where like a lot of the people that'll say things like, hey, it's a 3% degradation or whatever. A lot of the tests they're running, if you dig into it, are very short run agent loops or even a single like code test. But the things that I test are much longer running, hundreds of tool calls that go out. So it just degrades, a little bit compounding over a bit of time.
Yeah. Well, we have limited time left here, but what I've decided to do is kick off another Horizon beta run.
This model
Now,
is awesome.
Exactly. When I first used it, alpha, I think it was 3 minutes and 40 some seconds. I finished this exercise. And to this day, I mean, that wasn't very many days ago, maybe like 5 AI years, but like 5 days ago, it did the best out of any model. So, what's interesting, if you guys are wondering, Opus is awesome. They did not train it on Flappy Birds. It isn't that good at Flappy Birds, and that doesn't bug me at all. Because I mean, we do have a Flappy Birds Easter egg in Roo somewhere. I'm not telling you where. Click everywhere. No, I'm just kidding. We don't. But
Not yet.
not yet. We're going to, but then we're gonna have to switch away from using Opus for my main development. So. Yeah, so it's okay that the Opus, Anthropic, if you're listening, I doubt you are, but if you are, it's okay that you're not good at Flappy Birds with Opus because you are good at everything else. If I gave you
and Horizon,
go ahead.
I'd say on Horizon Beta, it's like one of the best front end designer models that I've used. So like a lot of times, we don't have a full time designer on staff, so we're building something. I'll use different models to kind of prototype out certain things. Horizon Beta is awesome at that. It just has a really good style for how it designs front end.
You gotta create an eval for that one, like the taste eval. I would love to see that.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that would be super cool. Have some sort of ELO score ranking on taste.
Do you post your evals on X? I don't follow X that much.
I do on X, YouTube, and I do have a website that I try to keep up to date. I'm working on putting my August ones up there now.
I noticed on X, people love it when you post a table with different evals. They love it.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we have like 30 seconds, 15 seconds to go. I think I want to wait to see if this looks good. I really do. Hurry up and finish up there.
You got to use debug mode when these things break.
Yeah.
Or we got to make a debug / command. I swear that one prompt is golden. Like to give me 3 to 5 things, do some research, figure out the 1 to 2.
I guess I'm in code mode and I don't want to go full debug. I just want to /debug this.
Yes. Honestly, that mode I think should have been
awesome.
Yeah. Okay, well, I don't think that we're going to make it to the end. It's been nice chatting with you guys. Sorry to keep you in suspense and not show you what's going on here. But thank you very much for joining us. It's been wonderful. Again, I'm Hannes Rudolph, and there we go. My screen went funny. I'm Hannes Rudolph, and I'm live from San Francisco. I look forward to seeing you guys again next week.
Hey, everyone. Good to see everybody again. Take care, everybody.
See you later.
You bye.